Well, welcome to another week. I know this is kind of an additional video for you guys, but I did want to share this idea of our course norms and procedures. I know that we've kind of been talking about them since the beginning of the year, and they've kind of been spread out, but I kind of wanted to hone everything down and be able to kind of share maybe possibly some new ones that I have been thinking about. I have been looking through our course units with math especially, and there has been a large number of cool downs that have been added this year. So I'm trying to think of a way to reduce the amount of cool downs that we are doing, but still get across the concepts and ideas that you need to complete those units. So I have been working on some new norms and procedures that kind of help us with that idea and help us move through these units, maybe a little bit on pace, but not get you so frustrated because there's so many cool downs. This will kind of maybe establish some more motivation, and more of you can complete units and kind of get back on pace as we move through the year and through these months. So again, these are the SLP course norms and procedures. I did send out a link to have people join this video. So if someone does hop in, we might pause for a second to introduce them and then kind of move forward. What I would love to do is to have these live sessions with our classes to be able to teach maybe some lessons that I would like to maybe reinforce a topic that we have already or have already had a lesson on in your unit, maybe reteach that for those that are struggling in a certain concept, or it's a new lesson for those that are moving forward, and we can kind of keep them on track as well. But again, we're not going to do these every single week. If there's a month that we can, that would be great, but we'll kind of go on a week-to-week basis and see how it's doing on a time that everyone can show up, and then we'll kind of go on from there. And if we establish a routine where it is every week, then we'll just kind of run with it and see how far it can go before we need to change it. So hopefully this video will help kind of wrap up and kind of establish some norms for the cool downs in our weekly instructional lessons. So again, the weekly instructional lessons, all right, I'm going to kind of jump down to the last two hyphens there. They're a way to help enhance your learning in the unit, all right? So they're a way for me as the teacher to teach you a lesson on a certain number of cool downs that are associated with each other. And then that last point says they're kind of broken up within each unit. So when you're looking at your unit and you see that my weekly instructional lessons are kind of scattered through the unit, there is a purpose to that. When you see those, the cool downs that are listed below it are the cool downs that are associated with that lesson. So if you watch the video in that lesson, I'm teaching you a concept or idea that's going to help you complete those cool downs below it. But again, it's just a way to enhance your learning. I do want to say, based on that first dash mark there, that you don't have to complete them. I do not need to see all weekly instructional lessons done in order for you to complete the unit. If they are there to support you, which they are, they should only be there for when you're having trouble with a certain number of cool downs. If you understand the cool downs in that section, there's no need for you to go back and look at the weekly instructional lesson where I'm teaching you about it if you can already understand it and move through it at your own pace. So you can complete cool downs without looking at the weekly instructional lesson. Again, I maybe advise you to at least watch the video that will give you some support for that or a push to that, but they're not needed to be completed in order for you to complete the unit. However, I will refer you to the wills with feedback. So I might say if you have a question or help on a certain feedback in a cool down, I might refer you back to the weekly instructional lesson. They are still a support and they still will be there, but I kind of wanted to get across the idea that they do not need to be turned green, all of them, in order for you to complete the unit. Again, they are support to help you with the cool. The next topic kind of refers to this feedback. So when I give you feedback, what does that mean? So just to kind of review, we have red, yellow, and green. Green means go, and we'll get to green. But red and yellow is what I kind of want to focus on. Yellow means to review cool down. So maybe you need to concept. Little understanding of the unit or of that cooldown, and I need you to revise it, right? I need you to go back, stop what you're doing, and look back at this cooldown before you move forward. So my norm for this, these cooldowns will be, if you get a red, you need to complete the will associated with that cooldown. So if you get a red on a cooldown, you need to go to the weekly instructional lesson above it, and you need to complete that. So that needs to be turned green, which then will help you hopefully turn that checkpoint green, and then you can kind of move forward. Again, they are meant to support your learning. If they are yellow, you do not need to complete a will, only if they are red. So my condition with these cooldowns in the unit, since there are so many, is that you only need to complete the will if you get a red in a certain cooldown. So it's, again, it's the will above that cooldown that needs to be turned green in order for you to move forward. With green, if you kind of look here in this idea, I'll kind of skip down to the third one here. If you get them all green, or you're moving through the course and you get something green, it means, again, you can kind of move forward. So this idea of what I'm going to do with these units is I'm actually going to give you a list of cooldowns that need to be completed to finish the unit. And I might just assign them to you instead of sending you a list to complete. So what this is going to do is it's going to reduce the overall number of cooldowns, but you're still learning each concept. So I'm not taking away your learning or your concepts, I'm just reducing the load. However, you can only take the end of the unit assessment if you get them all green. So we talked about before, if you get a yellow, you can turn that yellow into a green based off our conversations through feedback. However, if you get a red, you need to complete the will above it, which gives you an additional cooldown to complete in order to complete the unit. So I will have my list of cooldowns, but anytime you receive a red, you might add an additional one because you have to complete the weekly instructional lesson. So hopefully this list, or the ones I'm going to assign you in each unit, and we're going to begin this in the next unit because we can't do it now because it will kind of mess up those that are in the unit now. We will reduce the number in the next unit where I'm able to assign them to you. So in the 2 units that we're working on, I will send you a list of cooldowns that I need you to complete in order to finish the end of the unit assessment and the portfolio problem. So hopefully this will kind of give you some more motivation and less frustration in how many cooldowns there are. So again, if you get them all green, the list or the ones that I assign you, you can take the end of the unit assessment, which you get 2 attempts, right? So you get 1 attempt and then you get another attempt to get a higher grade. And you still need to finish the portfolio problem or problems. Again, it's just a problem. You get to pick one, 2 attempts with revisions. So if you attempt it the first time, I'll give you revisions and send it for feedback. And then you'll get 1 more time to take that feedback and correct it where necessary. So hopefully this will give us some more motivation to get these units done without completing so many checkpoints and it seemed overwhelming for you. The last slide, I just want to kind of share again the idea of content assessments. So content assessments are there for you to learn the content to apply in the unit. So I kind of just want to run through some quick things so you understand, and we've been kind of having conversations, but I feel like I just need to share what our expectations are here. You cannot take a new content assessment in any class if you're behind in a project unit from another course. So if you're in the 2nd unit in math, but you're behind in the 1st unit in English, you cannot take the content assessment in the new math unit until that project is done in English. You can take the content assessment twice without any looking at any resources or setting any goals. We allow you to take it twice. Now, we still want you to set goals, but you can take it twice without any restrictions. However, you do need to take the diagnostic first before you can request those content and be approved. After the 2nd attempt and on, so any attempts after the 2nd one, you will need to complete assessment tickets each time. An assessment ticket shows that you looked at resources and certain objectives. It gives us an opportunity for you to go back and look at the resource and the objective that you didn't do so well in and be able to associate itself with that material to help you take it again. And that assessment ticket is evidence that you did that. So again, kind of wanted to give you an idea of what these content assessments will be about. I'm not sure how that slide got in there, but again, I just wanted to go over this information with you guys just to give you some new norms and procedures. Maybe some of these weren't new, but to kind of give you an opportunity to continue to work through our units without frustration. I'm trying to find ways to motivate you to complete these, and hopefully this presentation kind of helped you and will give you that motivation to kind of work through a unit without getting so overwhelmed with everything. If you have any questions, please let me know, and we can talk more about this if you're just confused or anything, but continue to work through a unit, and if you need any help, please let me know. Thanks.